Hello students, in this video I will discuss about dihalogen derivatives, their methods of preparation and properties. Dihalogen derivatives means in alkyl halide two halogen atoms are present. Now depending upon the position of two halogen atoms in the molecule, dihalides again divided into three categories. First is gem dihalide, or it is also called as geminine twins. In these dihalides, both halogens are attached to the same carbon atom. For example, this is ethylidene chloride or isopropylidene chloride when both the carbon atoms are attached to the same carbon atom. Second one, vicinal dihalide, when both halogens are attached to adjacent carbon atoms. Ethylidene chloride, 1,2-dichloroethane, 1,2-dichloropropane are the examples of vicinal dihalides. Third is alpha omega dihalide. In these, two halogen atoms are present at the terminal ends of the carbon chain, to the terminal carbon atoms of the carbon chain. Okay, 1,4-dichlorobutane. Now next is methods of preparation. First we'll discuss methods of preparation of gem dihalides. First is from carbonyl compound. By the reaction of phosphorus pentachloride and carbonyl compound we can obtain gem dihalides. So when aldehyde is treated with phosphorus pentachloride, then POCl3 get removed. Out of 5 chlorine atoms, 3 chlorine atoms are removed and molecule POCl3 is formed, and the 2 chlorine atoms, these get attached with this carbon atom. So in this way we get gem dihalides. Example, ethanol treated with PCl5, then we get ethylidene chloride or 1,1-dichloroethane. Similarly, when any ketone, for example acetone, treated with phosphorus pentachloride, same reaction takes place, phosphoryl chloride get removed and both chlorine atoms are attached with this carbon atom. Second method is from alkynes. When alkyne is treated with any halogen acid, for example with HCl, then we get gem dihalide. H and Cl, they get added across triple bond. Okay, so one H will go to this carbon, then Cl will go to this carbon. From the second molecule, again H will go to this carbon and Cl will go to this carbon atom, and hence this CH get converted to CH3, triple bond converted to single bond, and we get ethylidene chloride. Okay. Similarly, when propyne is treated with HCl, then we get isopropylidene chloride. Next is vicinal dihalides. Methods of preparation for vicinal dihalide. First, from alkenes. When alkenes react with halogens, ethene, when treated with chlorine in presence of carbon tetrachloride, then both chlorine atoms get added to these 2 carbon atoms, and hence we get vicinal dihalides. Second is from glycol. When glycol is treated with phosphorus pentachloride, this is glycol, ethylene glycol. When it is treated with phosphorus pentachloride, PCl5, then POCl3 get removed. Okay, HCl, both H get removed with 2Cl, 3Cl combined with phosphorus and oxygen, so we get phosphoryl chloride, HCl, and then remaining HCl atoms will attach with these 2 carbon atoms. Okay. Next is alpha omega dihalide. When silver salt of dicarboxylic acid reacts with bromine in presence of carbon tetrachloride, then we get alpha omega dihalide, and this reaction is known as Hunsdiecker reaction. In this reaction, AgBr is get removed and carbon dioxide also get removed. Remaining group get added with both carbon atoms are attached with one bromine atom, and hence we get alpha omega dihalide. Now next is the physical properties of dihalides. Dihalo derivatives are generally colorless liquids with sweet smell. These are insoluble in water but soluble in organic solvents. Okay. Dihalides are heavier than water. Their density is more than water. Next, let us discuss chemical properties of dihalides. First is hydrolysis. Okay, their properties are similar to monohaloalkanes. So first is hydrolysis. When jam dihalides undergo hydrolysis with aqueous potassium hydroxide, then aldehydes are produced. These two chlorine atoms are combined with potassium, thereby forming KCl, and two OH groups are attached with this carbon atom. Okay. This compound is highly unstable as two OH groups are attached to the same carbon atom. So by the removal of water molecule, for example this, then double bond appears in between this carbon and oxygen, and hence aldehyde is produced. Hydrolysis with aqueous KOH of 2,2-dichloropropane, but in this case final product is acetone. Second, dehydrohalogenation. Dehydrohalogenation means removal of hydrogen and removal of halogen. Okay. So when it is treated with alcoholic KOH, two HCl molecules, 1H, 1Cl, 1H, 1Cl get removed, and hence in this way triple bond is appeared in between these two carbon atoms, hence alkynes are produced. Third reaction is dehalogenation. Dehalogenation means removal of halogen. By reaction with zinc, jam dihalides gives alkene having double bond of carbon atom. Okay. Look at this reaction. 1,1-dichloroethane, two molecules are treated with zinc in presence of methanol. Then zinc chloride get removed. Hence double bond appears in between these two carbon atoms and alkene is produced. Now try halogen derivatives. Chloroform and iodoform, CHCl3 and CHI3 are two important trihalogen derivatives which are also called haloforms. Okay. These are synthesized by haloform reaction. So let us discuss haloform reaction. The compounds having these structures A or B means where R is any alkyl group or hydrogen atom. Okay. So it may be alkyl or it may be hydrogen. If it is hydrogen, in this case structure B, then it is an aldehyde, and if it is R, then it is ketone. That means haloform reaction is shown by alcohols and aldehydes and ketones. Now let us discuss different steps of haloform reaction. This reaction is completed in 3 steps when our compound is an alcohol, primary or secondary alcohol. When it is treated with halogen, then after first step we get structure B. Okay, this H combined with X and double bond appears in between this carbon and oxygen. Again, this product that we get in step 2 reacts with 3 molecules of halogen. Then these 3 hydrogen atoms are replaced by halogens and we get trihalo derivative of compound. This trihalo derivative of compound when treated with potassium hydroxide, okay, then we get haloform means chloroform or iodoform. Overall balanced equation can be written like this. Now let us discuss chloroform. Its laboratory method, It is obtained by heating ethyl alcohol or acetone with bleaching powder and water. This reaction is called haloform reaction, as we have discussed just now. This reaction is completed in these steps. Step 1, bleaching powder COCl2 reacts with water and produce nascent chlorine and calcium hydroxide. Okay. In the second step, the nascent chlorine oxidizes ethyl alcohol into aldehyde, acetaldehyde CH3CHO. This acetaldehyde is chlorinated by nascent chlorine and we get trichloroacetaldehyde, or it is called as chloral. This chloral forms chloroform on hydrolysis. Okay, CCl3CHO, two molecules, they combine with calcium hydroxide that we get in first step. So in this way we get two molecules of chloroform and calcium formate. Okay. Now if acetone is used instead of ethyl alcohol, then reaction will proceed in following ways. Chloroform, bleaching powder plus H2O, we get calcium hydroxide and nascent chlorine. This nascent chlorine reacts with acetone, we get trichloroacetone. This trichloroacetone upon chlorination gives chloroform and calcium acetate. Okay. Next is from sodium hypochlorite NaOCl. By haloform reaction, sodium hypochlorite solution forms chloroform. So sodium hydroxide, when treated with chlorine, we get sodium hypochlorite, NaCl and water. This sodium hypochlorite reacts with alcohol, whether primary or secondary. Then we get aldehyde or ketone. If this R is H, then we get aldehyde. If it is an alkyl group, then we get ketone. Now again this ketone or aldehyde treated with sodium hypochlorite, we get trichloro derivative of aldehyde or ketone, and in last step this trichloro derivative upon treatment with sodium hydroxide produces chloroform. Next is from chloral hydrate. When chloral hydrate is hydrolyzed with aqueous sodium hydroxide, then it gives pure chloroform. Sodium formate and water are the byproduct of this reaction. Fourth is from carbon tetrachloride. When carbon tetrachloride is partially reduced in presence of iron and water, then chloroform is obtained. Next method, by chlorination of methane. When methane is treated with chlorine in presence of sunlight or radiations, then one by one all the hydrogen atoms of methane are replaced by chlorine and at last we get chloroform. But this method is not considered as a good method, as in this case we get mixture of alkyl halides. Physical properties of chloroform. It is a colorless, sweet smelling liquid. It is partially soluble in water and heavier than water. It is soluble in ether and alcohol. Chloroform causes unconsciousness on excess inhalation, that we know. Now purity test of chloroform. Pure chloroform do not give white precipitate with silver nitrate, while impure chloroform gives white precipitate of silver chloride with silver nitrate. Due to the presence of HCl gas, then chloroform is considered as an impure one. Actually what happens, that chloroform upon decomposition gives HCl gas that remains in soluble form in chloroform. So if we add silver nitrate in that impure chloroform and we get white precipitate of silver chloride, then it is a sign that chloroform is impure. Chemical properties. When chloroform is treated with atmospheric oxygen in presence of sunlight, then a poisonous gas phosgene is produced, COCl2. Therefore, impure chloroform cannot be used for anesthetic purpose because it is a poisonous gas. So to prevent its oxidation, we should take some precautions. These precautions are: chloroform always be stored in dark brown colored bottles filled up to the brim to prevent the contact of air and light. So always chloroform is stored in brown colored bottle so that light cannot come in contact of chloroform. Second precaution, 1% ethyl alcohol, which is a very small amount, is added with chloroform. If a small amount of oxygen if formed, then it is converted into non-poisonous diethyl carbonate by ethyl alcohol, and hence in this form chloroform remains in its pure form. Second is reduction. When chloroform reduced with zinc or HCl, then we get 1,1-dichloromethane and HCl is produced. Third is reaction with acetone. When chloroform is treated with acetone in presence of potassium hydroxide, then chloritone is produced. This chloritone is a hypnotic drug. Fourth property, hydrolysis. When chloroform treated with aqueous potassium hydroxide, then upon hydrolysis it gives formic acid, HCOOH. This is the intermediate product. By the removal of 3 KCl molecules, 3 OH groups are attached with the same carbon atom. Since 3 OH groups are attached with the same carbon atom, so it is highly unstable, readily remove water molecule, and hence we get formic acid. Fifth property is nitration. By the reaction of concentrated nitric acid with chloroform, chloropicrin or nitrochloroform is formed. It has been used as war gas. 6. Chlorination. In presence of sunlight, chloroform reacts with chlorine gas and gives carbon tetrachloride and HCl. 7th, reaction with silver powder. When chloroform is treated with silver powder and heated, then it gives acetylene. 8th is Hofmann's carbylamine reaction or isocyanate test. When chloroform is heated with primary amine and alcoholic potassium hydroxide, it gives isocyanate having an offensive smell. It is also called as carbylamine. Similarly, when chloroform is treated with aniline, aminobenzene, the same reaction takes place, and in this case we get phenyl isocyanate. This reaction is used to test primary amine and chloroform, so this is called as isocyanate test. Now let us discuss its mechanism. Potassium hydroxide gives potassium and hydroxide ion. Chloroform combined with hydroxide ions, water molecule get removed, this H combined with OH and we get trichlorocarbenium ion, CCl3 minus. This CCl3 minus remove chloride ion and we get dichloromethane, free radical we get. This dichloromethane react with primary amine, okay, and ultimately we get alkyl isocyanate. Next is Riemer-Deeman reaction. Salicylaldehyde is formed by heating chloroform with phenol and potassium hydroxide. This reaction is called as formylation. Phenol treated with chloroform and potassium hydroxide, salicylaldehyde is obtained. Last reaction is addition with alkenes. When chloroform is treated with alkene, then according to anti-Markovnikov rule, in presence of peroxide, addition reaction takes place and we get trichloroalkanes. Uses of chloroform: it is used as an anesthetic, can be used as a solvent, can be used as a laboratory reagent. It is a germicide. It is used in the manufacturing of chloropicrin and chloritone, etc., that we have discussed in its chemical properties. Now, iodoform can also be prepared in the same way as chloroform can be obtained. So, at the place of Cl2 in all the reaction we can put I2 and hence we can write equations for the preparation of iodoform. Let us discuss its chemical reactions. When iodoform undergo reduction, then we get triiodomethane. Upon hydrolysis with alcoholic KOH, it gives formic acid. When it is heated, it gives violet vapor of iodine. So it is a test of iodoform also. When treated with primary amine in presence of potassium hydroxide, undergo isocyanide test, and it also produces alkyl isocyanide. When heated with silver powder, it gives acetylene. When it is treated with silver nitrate, if it gives yellow precipitate of silver iodide, that means iodoform is not in its pure form. So all the reactions are similar to reactions of chloroform. So this is all about this video. In this video I have discussed dihalogen derivatives and trihalogen derivatives of alkanes. In my next video I will discuss tetrahalogen derivatives of alkanes, freons, and about DDT and BHC. Thank you.